Bree Brochet here, and today I'm going to be reviewing The Martian by Andy Weir. Now, I recently have gotten very much into audiobooks. I love audiobooks. I listen to them while I'm working around the house, doing the ironing, the cooking, while I'm driving to work, whatever. And it's just a great way when you're very busy like I've been these last few months to still consume books but not feel like you're sitting down to read, you know? You're killing two birds with one stone because you're listening to an audiobook and you're getting other stuff done, menial tasks, you know? I became aware of this book because I was listening to the Author Strong podcast and Matt Morris brought up how the narration for The Martian by Andy Weir was supposed to be really, really amazing, and true that it was. And then I heard about The Martian again when the trailer came out for the film featuring Matt Damon. And I kind of begrudgingly eventually watched the trailer because I don't know what filmmakers are thinking these days. They reveal way too much in the trailers. The trailer is comical, but just watch it knowing that there are a couple things in there that might spoil a few tiny things. But fortunately that trailer wasn't so bad, like so many movies these days. Like, I think the one for Southpaw gives away the whole plot of the freaking movie. And anyway, movie trailers. I could do a whole video about that and how I'm just really kind of upset with them lately. Anyway, I told myself, don't go watch the trailer till you finish the book. That didn't last long. Because I went to the movies a few weeks ago and the trailer for The Martian was there and I was like, well, I'm trapped now. Can't go running out. But anyway, I saw the trailer and I was like, okay, I officially want to read this book. So I got it on Audible. I am a new member of Audible. I've gotten 4 books from there so far. I've got Game of Thrones, Outlander, The Martian, and Dracula. Because I've been wanting to get through Dracula, you know, but a lot of things I've been wanting to get through, but just, all the things that got in the way. Anyway, back on track. The Martian by Andy Weir tells the story of Mark Watney. And he is on a mission to Mars with his crewmates. And there's a big storm that comes into Mars. They have to do an emergency evacuation, and in the process of that evacuation, Mark Watney goes flying through the air, gets stabbed with something in his chest, and goes down, and his crewmates see this and they're like, oh my god, he's dead. And they have to evacuate without him. Newsflash, he's not dead. And he's got to figure out how to survive on this desolate planet that's just constantly trying to kill him. One of the main criticisms with this book, and I see why, is all the science. This book is extremely sciencey. If you hate science, or you're like me and you're kind of science inept and you don't get a lot of those concepts, I recommend you pick up the audiobook. I think that if I had tried reading the book versus listening to it, a lot of the science stuff would have just been way over my head and I wouldn't have liked the flow of the book. The narrator for the book, I'll put his name somewhere because I forgot, had a great way of expressing the science in a comical way, and the writer had a way, Andy Weir had a way of explaining the science in a way that made it understandable to someone like me who was much more English and history minded than math and science minded. So even though I didn't understand all the concepts, I understood why Mark Watney was doing what he was doing and why it made sense. So the writer did a great job of explaining that and making it understandable to the average reader, but I recommend listening to the audiobook for that reason because it helps a lot of the science stuff to flow a bit better and you won't feel like it's so over your head, you know? While I'm on the topic of the narrator, he was fabulous. He did all the accents in the story, but he didn't read too slow. One of the reasons I didn't like Daughter of Smoke and Bone was because while the narrator acted out the accents of the voices, she spoke so slow, I was like, I can read this book faster than it's being read to me. It's a waste of my time. The narrator for this particular book, he had good pacing. He did the voices in a way that was comical and gave each and every character personality without losing the beat of the story. The narrator was one of the best narrators for an audiobook I've ever listened to, and I've only listened to maybe about 5 audiobooks at this point. Overall, this story was just amazing to me. I see why it's so popular, and I definitely see why it is being made, or already was made, into a film, and I cannot wait to see the movie. Maybe I'll do a book to movie type of thing, I don't know. But I definitely recommend reading the book before seeing the movie just because, especially with the audiobook, it was so enjoyable. It was so well written. It was exciting. Each of the characters had a great personality. And I just thoroughly enjoyed the experience of reading this book that was kind of outside the realm of what I would typically read. We know me, I go for the YA books, the kind of Jane Austen-y type books, historical fiction. You know, those are like my thing, a little bit of fantasy in there. To read a science fiction book, I can't remember the last time I read a hardcore science fiction book and just thoroughly loved it. I loved it. I think I'm kind of torn between 4.5 to 5 stars for this book because, again, it does start to lose pacing a teensy weensy bit when the narrator and the writer get into all the sciencey stuff, but I understand why it needed to be there and why it added a certain element to the story, and it was done so well that it made the average scientific numbskull like myself able to understand what was going on and why Mark Watney was having to do the stuff he did. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to give this book 5 stars. That's 2 5-star books I've read in a row. I absolutely love this story. Mark Watney was a hilarious character. He managed to take a very dire situation and make it comical. So, love this book. Go pick up The Martian by Andy Weir. But I recommend picking up the audiobook because it was just all kinds of awesome. That's it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Bye.